Move the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Gets passed. Okay, we have 4 items on the agenda. 2 were mailed to you and 2 were added in the last couple of days. We're going to have Vice Chancellor Weinscheid walk us through the 4 items. I don't think they're too controversial.
They're not. Mr. Chairman, if I might, let me do the first 3, which are project related, and then I'll do the presentation on the capital budget. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
So then, you know, we can present, it's fairly quick, all right? So item number 1 is a resolution to authorize those instruments and agreements necessary to proceed with the development of a property at 2 Port Square, Long Island City, Queens, for the CUNY Law School project. As this committee knows, we have identified a new site for the CUNY Law School, and I might add that this project is moving rather quickly. We've entered into a letter of intent with Citibank for this property, and now we have a number of other agreements that we have to finalize in order to make this project happen. A purchase and sale agreement, a condo agreement, a lease between the 6320 Corporation and CUNY, and so we're seeking approval to enter into these agreements, Mr. Chairman. The next item is a resolution to authorize the replacement of CUNY's existing lease at 875 6th Avenue with a new 15-year lease that includes conversion of existing lease space from office to classroom use in order to house CUNY School of Professional Studies. We have, for a number of years, tried to find a permanent home for CUNY's School of Professional Studies. As a result of CUNY now consolidating our administrative functions at 57th Street and the data center moving out to 395 Hudson Street, it now has become available for us to consolidate the School of Professional Studies at 875 6th Avenue. We will be increasing our space in that building from 43,000 square feet to 91,000 square feet. This is a landlord who likes academic space and has been encouraging of CUNY to take more space in the building. It's also a very good location for the School of Professional Studies because it's at 31st Street and 6th Avenue, and it's a space that's accessible to public transportation. So we're asking for approval to move along with this new 15-year lease. The last item, project item, is approval to enter into a lease at 162-10 Jamaica Avenue in Jamaica. The CUNY Public Safety Academy, which provides training for new and existing public safety officers at CUNY, has been operating at a space at York College. But with the college in need of more space to accommodate its own increased enrollment and its new nursing program, we had to find a new place for the Public Safety Academy. And we have been very fortunate. Gertz Plaza, which is located in Jamaica, and is a very large facility, has space available, and we've been working with the landlord, and we will be able to enter into a lease to be able to take space in that building for the academy.
What's their name?
The various offices sort of cut up, not one big user, just a lot of little users, but there is space available, and again, the landlord is very eager to work with CUNY to be able to provide us a space. And again, it's a good location for us because there's a lot of mass transit. It's a good location. Long Island Railroad's there. You've got all these subway lines, bus lines. So we think it'll be a good place for us to be.
We also use the training center to actually make some money. So it's really a profit center. We do the training now for HHC's police officers and several city agencies.
Right.
So those are the 3 project items, and if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I'll go into the capital budget presentation now.
Right. I assume there's no questions. No. Okay.
I think you all have in front of you a copy of the presentation, so you can follow along. And before I begin, I just want to thank my staff who has put in a tremendous amount of time in doing this new 5-year plan.
Mark, we need to vote on the projects, the 3 projects.
Well, we need to vote on all 4.
We gotta
Gotta vote on the budget.
Oh, okay,
also,
all right,
so.
okay.
Anyway, I want to thank my staff who have really put a tremendous amount of work into this new 5-year plan. Howard Allshoulder, Gwen Perlman, and Bruce Henning, who have just spent hours on this. And so before I begin, I just want to thank them for all the hard work that they have put in. So as I said, in your folders, you have a summary of the presentation. And I just want to point out that this 5-year plan was developed from campus master plans, critical maintenance analyses, and it was undertaken with the full participation of administrators, faculty, staff, students, all throughout the CUNY system. As everybody on this committee knows, our facilities portfolio is very large. 296 buildings consisting over 26 million gross square feet of space. The 5-year capital budget request is to cover funding across all 21 campuses at CUNY. As you see on this graph, the distribution of this 26 million square feet over our 21 campuses vary greatly in size. City College alone accounts for over 3 million gross square feet in our portfolio. This graph shows the gross square footage added to CUNY's inventory by decades. Blue represent the senior colleges, and orange is for the community colleges. As you can see, a majority of our gross square footage was created before 1980. I will now share with you some of the projects that we recently completed, others that are well into construction, and lastly, projects that started construction this year. First is the completed new West Quad building at Brooklyn College. This added 146,000 gross square feet to the CUNY inventory, and this building houses gyms, a pool, multi-purpose space, and a student service function, including the bursar's office, the registrar's office, financial aid, and a one-stop student services counter. Next is the Spitzer School of Architecture, or the old Y building, dating from 1950. It was completely renovated to provide a unified home for delivery of the school's entire architecture program. It includes classrooms, design studios, faculty offices, and the architecture school library. I also might want to note that I took a walk through the building a few weeks ago with the chair of DASNY, and the place was a total mess. Students were working, there was paper all over the place, and it felt like it was lived in already. It really had a very good feeling. At Queensboro, we've completed the construction of a new 7,000 square foot facility for the Holocaust Center. This includes a beautiful glass addition to house the expanding collections and provide more exhibition space for the college. At Medgar Evers, as we noted at last month's meeting, we've renovated the 13 trailers at Medgar Evers. The college is now able to provide more classroom space in a much improved environment for the college. And I'm particularly proud to share with you what we've completed regarding our initiative to upgrade labs across the university. Last year we upgraded 5 labs. This year we upgraded 5 labs. Each lab had a specific scope to appropriately address its needs. And as you can see from the picture, we took these labs from what was state-of-the-art in the 1950s, and we brought them into the 21st century. We are now planning our next group of both research and teaching labs, and those projects will be initiated this year. And now I want to update you on some ongoing projects. Construction continues on Phase 1 of the CUNY Advanced Science Research Center and the new science building for CCNY on the City College campus. As you can see from the pictures, we are finishing excavation, and work on the foundations and the utilities is progressing. The combined project is budgeted at $700 million. When completed, the two buildings will add more than 400,000 square feet to our inventory, and this will be state-of-the-art science facilities. A couple of weeks ago, we had the topping off ceremony for the John Jay campus new 620,000 gross square foot building. My staff offices look over the site, and it's been a joy on a daily basis to watch the progress of this new building. It'll provide John Jay with much needed space for both instructional and support services. This $587 million project will be completed in time for the fall 2011 term. I mentioned earlier the trailer renovation project at Medgar Evers, but the really significant project for the college is Academic Building 1. This new 194,000 gross square foot building will address the college's need for state-of-the-art classrooms and computer labs for all disciplines, as well as instructional labs and faculty offices. We anticipate completing this $235 million project in the summer of 2010. At Queens College, a 26,000 gross square foot addition to Remsen Hall, one of the college's 4 science buildings. This new addition contains labs that will be used for both instructional and research use. It's scheduled to open early next year, and just on Friday we were informed that we are very close to getting our certificate of occupancy. And of course the replacement of Fitterman Hall. This is a photo of the old Fitterman Hall wrapped in scaffolding while the deconstruction is underway. We've taken down the structure to the 5th floor as of last week. We plan to complete deconstruction by the end of November, and we'll start on a new building before the end of the year. The total cost for this project stands at $325 million. We're just beginning construction of the new building for the Hunter School of Social Work and Public Health. Relocating the school from 79th Street to 118th Street will allow us to replace the inefficient existing building with a new facility designed to meet the school's need. The new building will be open for the fall term of 2011. The North Instructional Building at Bronx Community College is a long-awaited addition to the campus. This is the first new building constructed on the campus since it was acquired from NYU in the early 70s. This project will construct a new 98,000 gross square foot building with the state-of-the-art classrooms and a library and an information commons. We anticipate completing this building in the summer of 2012. Also at the Bronx, the long-awaited Child Development Center is nearing completion. This 13,000 gross square foot modular building will be ready this spring. And I might note that this modular building went up in record time and really fits in with the architectural feeling of this campus. It's quite a lovely building. Construction of the first phase of Lehman's new science complex has begun. We're constructing a 66,000 gross square foot new science facility with laboratories for teaching and research. The new building is scheduled for completion in August of 2011. Now I want to discuss with the committee the capital request that covers the period of fiscal year 2010-2011 through 2014 and 2015. First, here's a summary of the budget results from last year. The state provided $284 million for critical maintenance projects at senior colleges, continuing their commitment to state of good repair. The city provided nearly $56 million, of which $22 million is mayoral funding for planned NYC projects that addresses energy reductions at the community colleges. We, together with the colleges and John Kotowski, were very successful in our lobbying for Res-OA funding this year to the tune of $33.8 million from the borough presidents and the city council. I want to call attention to a major change enacted in last year's budget. Medgar Evers College is now allowed to use 100% state funding for their projects. This will help our office address many critical maintenance problems more expeditiously at the college, removing the need for city funding to move projects along. Here are the details of the request before you. The 5-year request covers the period 2010-2011 through 2014-2015 and represents the university's additional need above and beyond the amount provided in the last 2 budgeted years. This year's university request is $5.3 billion for the upcoming 5 years. $4 billion for the senior colleges, $1.3 billion for community colleges. The state provides 100% of the funding for the senior colleges and 50% for the community colleges. The city provides the matching 50% for the community colleges. The request breaks down to $4.6 billion from the state, of which approximately $4 billion is for the senior colleges, $660 million is for the community colleges. The request to the city is approximately $700 million. We're also requesting about $93 million in Res-O-A funding from the borough presidents and the city council. Before I provide more details on the budget request, I want to explain our request in the context of the state's fiscal well-being. Our request needs to be somewhat restrained again this year in consideration of the financial conditions the state is experiencing. Despite that, many of our programs were partially funded in fiscal year 2008-2009 and need final allocations to be completed. As a result, our request budget includes the balance of the funds we did not receive over the last 2 fiscal years, with escalation factors added in. Only a limited number of new strategic initiative projects are included in this request. As many of you know, there has been a major effort by the Chancellor, executive staff, and FPCN to get the city to match over $160 million in existing state funds over the last 6 months. Education law requires that when using capital funds for community colleges, any dollar of state funding must be matched with a dollar of city funding. The state previously allocated funds to CUNY that we cannot access for community colleges due to the lack of the city match. We have had an ongoing discussion with the city, with a tentative agreement reached that they will add funds to the city's January plan for several important critical maintenance projects. In addition, the current capital request budget includes over $500 million in critical maintenance projects for community colleges that we discussed with the city and we're working to get funded. Here are some highlights of the projects that are in the request that we need additional funds to complete. Design is well underway for City Tech's new academic building, which will be built on the site of the existing Clipboard building. The architect is Perkins Eastman. The new 350,000 square foot building will be a mixed-use facility and include a 1,000-seat auditorium. For this $400 million project, we are requesting an additional $154 million. The design by Pfeiffer Partnership Architects is nearing completion for the Performing Arts Center at Brooklyn College. The college's performing arts facilities were constructed over 50 years ago and cannot accommodate the modern program amenities expected by today's students. This project will demolish Gershwin Hall and build a new performing arts instructional facility that will also create a new entryway to the college. We're requesting another $16 million for this $90 million project. The current request includes funds for our continuing critical maintenance program. This slide represents our critical maintenance requests for the 5 years. Here's an example of a large critical maintenance challenge for us. The terracotta facade of LaGuardia's 882,000 square foot Center 3 building is in poor condition and needs to be replaced. The most recent local law report, 11 report, found that the building was unsafe. As a short-term measure, a sidewalk bridge has been erected to protect pedestrians but the facade must be replaced if the building is to be preserved. Renovation of the 168,000 square foot facade is estimated to cost $118 million over 3 phases. This is one of the 3 priority critical maintenance projects that the city has indicated that they will fund this year. Here are the details of what we're requesting for the Chancellor's initiative. Approximately $122 million over 5 years to continue CUNY first. Funding for the next phase of science facilities at Hunter, Lehman, and Queens, and additional funding for science lab upgrades system-wide. The request also includes funding for relocation of the CUNY Data Center and a new disaster recovery business continuity program, and requests for funding to replenish CUNY's operating budgets for the purchase of capital equipment paid for in the first instance with operating funds. I want to thank you for your consideration, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, does anybody have any questions on the five-year rolling capital plan?
I have a quick, how does one think about, if I've got the figures right, maybe I missed it. You said last year that the state capital budget that came to CUNY was about a little under 300 million?
Yes.
287?
Yes.
And we're planning to ask the state in this budget for what would be a five-year average of about 800 million, or?
Which is, by the way, what we did last year also. Last year, we also asked them for a large amount of money.
Is that a pattern that we get, that we ask and they give us about 40% of what we've?
No, because actually, 2 years ago, they gave us $1.6 billion. So, you know, both depending on the economic vitality of the state, as well as, you know, as we start to spend down the projects, they feel that they need to, you know, then fund new projects.
Do we have any advanced sense of what's likely to be feasible from the state this coming year?
I think that State DOB would like to keep the capital budget low. I think that our best shot, our best opportunity is to work with the legislature and individual members to try and gain momentum and support for a number of these projects.
Thanks.
A little bit of concern about the request for completing the academic building one at New York City College of Technology and Brooklyn College. It's pretty clear that we need that money badly to even start. Is that correct?
Are you talking about academic building one?
Yes.
At Brooklyn College?
At New York City Tech,
New York City Tech.
and Performing Arts at Brooklyn. Sorry.
The way that it works with both State DOB and DASNY, unless all the money is appropriated,
Right.
they don't allow you to begin the project.
Right.
And so, in the case of Clipboard, we already have $240 million appropriated. A portion of it went to pay for the architect, but unless we get the additional funding, the state will not allow us to begin the project. Similarly, the same thing with the Performing Arts Center. Unless we get the additional appropriation, they won't let us start the project.
Yeah. So it's really a critical need since these colleges
Absolutely.
do need that. Right now, since I'm speaking, I'd like to thank you for the briefing that you gave us on these projects. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Do you know how much the bond issue will be on the law school? And does the law school have to carry the responsibility for meeting those interest payments or not?
The university will carry the payment
The debt
for
service.
the debt service. Yeah. The university will, and it's going to be about a $135 million bond issue. And what the underwriters are looking at is to use Build America bonds. They afford us the best rate at this point.
I'd just like to congratulate you and Vice Chancellor Hershenson for the incredible story in the New York Times about the Kupferberg Holocaust Center. That was a very, very nice story. And LaGuardia, Queensboro, of course.
Any other questions? All right, we have a motion to move the 4 items.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're done.
Quite an array of projects.
So to get it, this is actually very well nicely done.
Thanks very much.